Yeah, I think the Jake Paul one probably happens. I think that's like more realistic. Again, no need to get into it. We've talked about it before. The Jake and Tommy fight was a compelling contest. The KSI and Tommy fight wasn't. Jake boxes, KSI doesn't. It just, I think the Jake fight is going to happen. I don't see any indication that the KSI fight would or that it would go any differently. Whether that means KSI would win the next one, I don't know. But I think that it may also be a little bit of trickery John was doing in letting everyone know, oh, the hand's in trouble again, because that's the kind of thing that might pique a Mike Leonardi or a Nikisa Badarian's interest and have them jump on the phone and say, right, we've got a Tommy fight right after the Chavez fight. We're going to do it in September. We're going to do it in August. You know, we want to sprint through to it. If they think that Tommy is hurt, if they think that Tommy's hand is going to constantly be an issue, then they might, run a 10-rounder with Tommy. Obviously everything's going to be in Jake's favor. I mean, it was mad, John, saying it would be a 50-50 split. That's an interesting decision, given, that Jake is the one who would be bringing the broadcaster and everything to the table. But yeah, I think the Jake fight will probably happen, and the KSI fight.
You don't think it should be a 50-50 split?
I never said that. I just don't think that it will be.
Well, so what do you think it should be?
I think it should be 50-50, but in fact, I think John's right, 60-40. I think John's 100% right. But no, I think that Jake will be the one bringing the broadcaster. Certainly, if it ends up on Netflix, you got to give Jake a bonus for even just getting that deal over the line. I would give it at,
because surely Netflix are just interested in that if it's Jake and Tommy. So it's not really Jake bringing in the deal. It's Jake presenting Jake and Tommy, and it's Tommy that's interested in them as the other side of the equation, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that Tommy could even get in the door in a discussion like that. Like, I don't know that John or whoever's in charge of Tommy's career even speaks to Netflix in that way.
No, I get that point. Fair.
And they also haven't had a show. I mean, they obviously had a big show with the Furies, and obviously Tommy now back with Molly May, apparently, according to the reports. So he's a much more valuable commodity as a media personality and everything. And I'm sure Netflix would be excited to work with the Furies again. But I think that Jake is the one who brings the broadcaster, brings the deal. He's the one who brought them to Saudi last time, which was able to get the fight funded when Tommy was asking for what at the time would have been a monstrous amount of money. Obviously now he's beat the pair of them, and he is a bigger name now. But I think, it's still. I still think that Jake is far and away the A side, despite having lost the last one.
Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr.
DAZN have that one. DAZN pay-per-view, and Jake and Tommy was ESPN Plus, I think. I want to say ESPN and DAZN little double header, I think. Oh, it was TNT Sport in the UK, wasn't it? BT at the time.
Lewis Hart says, a word on Paul Hughes, Dunner.
Yes, well, I think he'll slide in as a part of the Kakachi discussion later, but what a man, what a fighter. The face of Irish MMA, one of our great athletes, and I can't wait for the rematch with Usman Nurmagomedov.
We've got here from, I just want to address it. Ice Cold says, bro, who is these two dorks, lol? Dorks? We're alphas, right? You're on mute, Dunner.
Yes, we are alphas. Of course, we're definitely alpha. Well, I know I'm alpha anyway. This guy's a beta simp, but I mean, I don't know. Two dorks. We cooked this guy. I mean, his profile picture is Al Pacino and Scarface, I think. Oh my gosh. That's cool. To call yourself Ice Cold and have Al Pacino and Scarface as your profile picture. That's pretty sick. Cold.
Steve Butler says, Lewis Hart, sort of, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Says Roman is a better boxer than Tommy. No, I think Tommy gets a lot of flack. I'm not saying Tommy Fury is a world beater or an elite or anything, but I think it's an easy stick to beat Tommy with, to say that he's just not the greatest boxer of all. There's levels to everything, absolutely, and this level should certainly be appreciated. Certainly, I've learned that being in the gyms and getting bashed up by not even white collar level type of fighters. So I think Tommy gets a bit of a rough ride because he's a bit of an easy stick to. Not a lolcow, but that sort of kind of thing going on. Anatol says, bro, you have amnesia. When Fury came back for his return, he could have fought AJ, but he chose to. You know what? I'm going to leave the debate for now. We're going to move on to some other comments. Stephen Butler says, Fury gave AJ 3-4 years to close the Undisputed chapter, and he failed to do so. AJ now has 4 losses and is retired. He's not retired just yet. In fact, he seems to want to continue, just waiting for a big opportunity. He's currently injured himself, going in for surgery as well. I believe it's on his elbow too. So Wilder turned down $200 million from DAZN to fight Joshua, and it was for Undisputed. It wasn't $200 million, though. Surely it wasn't. Thunder Road says, thanks for information, Eamon. I've not heard or read about that. Why is John Fury on the thumbnail? We click on and hear nonsense. Clickbait is not the one, dog. It's Seconds Out Live. We do this every week on Mondays, 4 p.m. As long as everyone is available to do a live show. You can look through the past every Monday, 4 p.m., maybe even 5 p.m. every now and again, just to get the show going here. Like it says here, Seconds Out Live every Monday. It's a live panel discussion surrounding the topics of boxing throughout the week. Podcast form almost, but with the added video there as well too for extra value. So do appreciate it, Ice Cold. If you don't, you're very welcome to click off. You're by no means strapped up to your seat and forced to watch it.
Although that is what a beta would be.
That's right. So yeah, stick around, Ice Cold. You're still very welcome. There's a seat for you. Don't worry. Moving on to Matchroom offered. Yeah, Matchroom offered Wilder 200 million. Did they? I don't remember that one. Jack Dunn on the 445 says Tommy will never get near a world title, so who cares? Lol. This is the crazy thing, and to say who cares? Lol. A couple of weeks back, we had Eubank Jr. versus Ben, who are also not world level either, and certainly have tried to get close to world level and have been defeated at their attempts to get their Eubank Jr. holds an IBO world title, but not considered as to be one of the real or major world championships. Conor Ben as well, a lot younger, a lot more opportunity to prove himself too, but hasn't been in that level of opposition either. Stephen Butworth asks, Eamon, can I ask who gets the most traction for Seconds Out? The Furies, Eubanks, and who else? It really just depends. A lot of this industry is a case of being there at the time and the place, and what generates interest in amongst the boxing world at the time. If you're on top of a story or whatever, and you get that out, then it will break news or it will get views and things. It really just does depend on that situation. So you could have, let's say, for example, actually, no, I won't name names by any means, but Furies generally, a lot of interest surrounding them. Eubanks, of course, a lot of interest surrounding them as well too. Eddie Hearn does well. Frank Warren does well. Lots of fighters kind of Anti Joshua does well as well too. It's more of a question for Danny Flexen, who isn't here. It's a lot more time at Seconds Out. Who can tell you who's given a lot of, who gets a lot of views, but also Seconds Out Live gets a lot of views as well too. There's a lot of jealousy in the industry, saying, "Oh, I wish I could be on."
There is a lot of that. There's a guy called Lewis Hart who's always messaging, asking to be on.
Yeah, but we say, why would we get you on, Lewis, when we've got Dunner?
Exactly.
Why would we need to look anywhere else? So, but yeah, there's a lot of fighters who do very well. Thunder Road says, watch how Eamon will segue from Tommy Fury, Jake Paul to MVP's latest 2 signings. Eamon is a consummate professional. We are going to discuss those 2 signings. Maybe is it in a moment. Are you a Fury cult follower or what? I'm going to pass on that one.